are getting audio.
And I think that's how it changes. That maturity process becomes an internal instead of an external.
Barry, do you go back to your old job, your old house? You know, you're going to pick up where you left off when you were sent back here?
Thanks to some supporters who wish to remain unknown, my house, I've never had to pack my house up. All my property sits in my house right now the way I left it that morning. So I will go back to my house, my job, my business, whatever, I'm allowed to pick up where I left off, and hope that the healing process this time is a lot quicker than the last 18 months, because last time, by the time I reached that 18-month period, I was just starting to find some balance when I had to turn myself back in. I think it'll be a lot quicker this time.
Anything you want to say to the governor?
I want to tell the governor thank you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you standing by your word like I stood by mine. I said that I would turn myself in if things went wrong, and I did. He said he wanted me released. He did. And I appreciate him for that. I thank him for that. And I will be praying for him still.
You have a lot of supporters in Great Falls. You plan on coming up to Great Falls?
I will be talking to my PO today about travel permits, and as soon as I can get to Great Falls, I will be up there to see the people in Great Falls. Helena, the Montanans for Justice in Helena, the Great Falls Freedom Walkers. Of course, tonight I will see the Billings BB Free support group over there. The Bozeman people, will probably just come to Billings, but yes, I owe so much to my supporters, and especially the ones in Great Falls, because even this Wednesday when it was windy and 20 degrees out, they were walking in Great Falls, Montana with signs asking for this moment. Asking for this moment. This is what they wanted, was this right here. So,
Jim, can you talk about, for you, your odyssey several decades, where Barry's case sort of fits into that?
We've been doing this work for the last 35 years of trying to free the convicted innocent, Barry, of course, being one of them. This stands right up with the Texas cases being the most difficult one because of the ups and downs. It was a roller coaster ride. Having him re-imprisoned was one of the most difficult moments in my personal and professional life. And it was a fight to the end, and this is the end. And we're so thankful for the governor and so many people that Barry's already pointed out who have helped us free him, that it's over. He's going home, never again to be in jail or prison. And it's a great feeling to finally, I can't wait to bring him home, which we're going to do today, to his mother. When I called her at 7 o'clock in the morning, this morning, she had no idea that her son would be home within hours. And now she does. And she was overwhelmed with joy and tears. So that's what it's all about for us, to bring the innocent convicted sons and daughters home to their loved ones.
Mr. Camille, it seems, in the last legislative session, there was a lot of laws passed that sort of led this happening today. You see a lot of, was what happened, it had to be instrumental in
It was unique. In all the cases I've worked on, we strike out in court. We were always one judge short in Barry's case, and with the parole board, we couldn't overcome the resistance there. And these supporters of Barry's got together, and with the assistance of legislators, put together a bill that gave the governor the authority to review his case, and that I've never seen that happen before. And the overwhelming support in the legislature was just remarkable. That's unprecedented as far as I know.
This executive clemency bill, signed by the governor, was the court of last resort for Barry. And we just thank God for it and for him.
Is Barry the first released under this?
Under this, yes.
Under this law?
In Montana,
Yeah,
yes.
this law took effect October 1, and so this is the first time that the governor's had a case come in front of him where he had to consider clemency, where he had the authority to do this.
And it was also done in a very expeditious manner as well, which was very helpful.
Talk about when you found out this morning. I know I got an adrenaline, like this is going to be a big day, you know? What went through your mind, your body? Tell me about that experience.
Well, it's like I told Jim, even standing here, I just want to break down and cry, but yet I'm still standing on prison property, and when I get off this property, I'm going to let it go. But right now my chest is like, it's like swollen inside, you know, and yet a little bit reserved still, you know, and oh man, I mean, you know, one of the things I told Jim is call Billings, tell him to heat my house because I want to be warm. You know, I'm sleeping in a warm bed. I don't care. That's, you know, so I mean, little things have started to go through my mind, and you know, I can't wait to see Mom. I can't wait to see the people in Billings. You know, I've got so many people to see and thank, and I'll make myself available. You know, I will make myself available, because if it wasn't for the people who stood by me, I wouldn't be standing here. And I'll make myself available to those people to thank them and make sure they understand how much I appreciate that.
Did the prison staff and maybe people, inmates, did they have any reaction to this morning?
Yeah.
Well, how were they?
Oh yeah, there's so much excitement going on inside there right now. You wouldn't believe the staff that met me right here at the door to say goodbye. You know, I talk about coming in at 20 years old and growing up in here, but there's a lot of staff on the other side.
All right, and so what you just heard was live reaction from Barry Beach, who, as we just found out, has been granted clemency. He is now a free man. Now, to clarify, the two gentlemen who are on either side of him, Jim McCloskey, as you can see, to his left, and Peter Camille, that's his attorney, to his right. Jim McCloskey is part of Centurion Ministries. Now, Peter Camille talked a little bit about, of all the cases he worked on, how they couldn't overcome the resistance of the parole board. He mentions the support of the governor, of the legislature, and he says it's been unprecedented. Okay, also, as you can see, Beach has been talking a little bit about the emotional response he's had to learning he's a free man. We'll bring you more coverage right here on MTN News.
Yeah. Okay, is that it? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, hold on. We got...
Awesome.
Is that it? Oh,
John Adams.
home, sweet home.
I'll see you guys in Billings.
Greg's waiting for you.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're so good to see you.
And his supporters were all there on hand as Beach was addressing the press, addressing his supporters as he learns that he will be walking free from the prison. Now, Beach talked a little bit about how he's going to be going back to his business, how he's going to be going back to his house, and how he's really looking forward to life resuming as normal. Now, I do want to go right now to Margie McDonald. We've had her here in studio with us. She's a state representative from Billings, and we've been talking today a little bit about the clemency and just how big of a deal this is. I did want to point out that 30 other states use parole boards as an advisor to the governor, but not as a gatekeeper. And Margie's been talking a little bit about this. So what can you offer? What can you tell people about that, Margie?
So Montana was the exception to the rule, really. There was just a tiny handful of states, and most people aren't aware of how that works. But when the Barry's case went before the parole board in 2014, and they basically blocked it from going to the governor when he had indicated every desire to send it to him and to review it and to have an opportunity to weigh in on it. It seemed wrong. And when we researched it, we realized that most states do keep that constitutional power with the governor. It's in our Constitution as well. And we thought maybe the legislative branch has a role to play in this. And it was very broad, very bipartisan, and we brought a bill forward.
Great. And I did want to touch on the fact that you did bring this bill forward, obviously not just for Barry Beach, possibly Barry Beach inspired, though?
that Barry's case certainly illustrated why it wasn't working.
Right. Definitely, definitely. Now, we wanted to grab your reaction one more time. Tell me how you're feeling just hearing all this news today. I know it's probably pretty overwhelming.
I am overjoyed and terribly, humbled, but so happy for the Barry and his family, and for thankful to the governor for doing this. That takes courage as well, and I'm very happy.
All right, that's Miss Margie McDonald. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, now turning now, as you've just heard, if you're just joining us, Barry Beach is a free man. The governor's decision to grant clemency follows a law passed this spring by the legislature, which allows the governor to overrule decisions by the Montana Board of Pardons and Parole. Now, Bullock publicly supported Beach last year when he wrote a letter to the parole board suggesting that it not consider whether he is guilty or innocent, but rather whether he had served enough time in prison. Now, to be clear, we are doing rolling coverage this afternoon on the governor's clemency decision. Joining us here shortly in studio, we're going to hear from one of Barry Beach's longtime supporters, one of his longtime friends, and really a longtime Billings resident. Mr. Ziegler, how are you?
I'm just great today.
Good, good. And now we're looking at live feed right now from Deer Lodge. You can see Barry getting into his car. He will be released from the prison. What does this feel like?
Well, first of all, I'm disappointed because I promised I was going to go get him in a limo, so I guess he's coming home in a different way than me going to get him.
That's right, that's right. Now, you're in close connection with, is it his mother?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I know the family very well. But I met Barry in 1984 at the prison, so I've known him for 31 years.
Okay. And so just seeing this here today, is it a bit overwhelming?
Yes, it is. And he's 265 miles away, and I just can't wait to get a hold of him and give him a big hug.
Right. And now, for our viewers at home who maybe don't know the background, you had promised him a limo because you've been advocating for him for quite some time.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we got him out in 2011, just a few years ago, the first time I got a chance to go get him and hug him, he whispered in my ear, "Where's my limo?"
Right.
So I drove him and his mother home in Stella's car.
Now, when Barry was freed, was he working for you? Was he? Did you interact with him much in the community?
Well, we gave him a job to get started, and then he lived with us for 9 months.
Okay.
But then we got him a job next door at the Clock Tower Inn, taking over the maintenance and things. He does an outstanding job. In fact, my landlord partner's waiting for him to come back because he's got a job.
Yeah, for our viewers maybe at home, obviously this has been a polarizing case to say the least. Some people supportive of Barry, some people not supportive. What would you say to those who look at this and go, he's a free man, but he's also a convicted murderer? What would you say, knowing him personally?
Well, you know, I would say it runs 99-1 in support of Barry. There's very, very limited comments negative that I've ever heard in all these years about Barry. It's always been high support for Barry. That, you know, he's showed himself to be a good person, a moral person, and a good character, and he's just come across well with every people that he's ever met.
Right, and with Barry, being that you were with him, like we said, when Barry was a free man, what was it like watching him having to go from freedom to back to prison? What did that do to him emotionally?
Well, it was tough on all of us. Very tough for us to have to walk him back to the sheriff's office and hug him up and just say, we're there for you, and we're going to stick this out, and the day's going to come when we're going to be with you again, and today's the day.
All right,
Great
Ziggy
day.
Ziegler. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
All right, we'll touch base with Ziggy again shortly. Now, we did just want to recap, if you're just joining us, Barry Beach has learned that he's a free man. We've been taking live shots from Deer Lodge.